A child got lost in the forest, but what happened next, no one can explain. The scream came first, not from Emily, but from Amanda. It ripped through the stillness of the forest like a knife tearing cloth. "Emily! Emily, answer me!" Her voice cracked as it echoed between the trees. She stumbled over the thick roots of a pine tree, flashlight in hand, her other hand reaching into the emptiness as if she could grasp her daughter back by sheer will. Behind her, the fading sun cast long shadows over the forest floor. Mark was ahead, running now, his breath coming in ragged bursts. "Emily!" he shouted again and again, until the name felt like it was being swallowed by the trees. It had been just a moment, one quiet, ordinary moment. Their 10-year-old daughter had asked to step away from the campsite to go to the bathroom. "Just over there," she'd said, pointing to the line of trees. Amanda had nodded, distracted by unpacking the cooler. Mark had been tending to the firewood. It hadn't felt like a mistake at the time. They were trying to relax. They were trying to be a family again. The trip was supposed to be a reset. Amanda and Mark had been drifting apart for years, held together only by bills, tired routines, and a daughter who seemed to carry more peace in her small frame than both of them combined. Amanda worked long shifts at May's Diner in Johnson City. Mark drove trucks through 5 different states and sometimes forgot what day it was. They hadn't prayed together in years. Church was a memory, not a habit. Faith, once tender and alive, had dried up in the noise of adult life. But Emily still believed. She was born with a curved foot and a shortened muscle in her right leg. Doctors called it a mild congenital deformity. To Emily, it just meant she couldn't run like the other kids. She limped, sometimes fell, and often sat on the sidelines during games at school. But she never complained. She had big brown eyes, the kind that always seemed to be looking past what was happening and into something deeper. She listened more than she spoke, and when she did speak, it was usually about things that made adults pause: stars, dreams, God. Her grandmother Irene had helped raise her in the early years, while Amanda worked and Mark was on the road. Irene had been a woman of unshakable faith. Every morning she read the Bible with her coffee. Every night she sat by the window and prayed out loud in a soft voice. Emily loved to sit at her feet, playing with dolls or drawing, while Grandma braided her hair and told her stories about angels, answered prayers, and how God never stopped listening. "Talk to Jesus like he's your best friend," she used to say. It had been over a year since Grandma passed, but her voice never left Emily's heart. Now the little girl sat alone in the woods. Her legs were scraped, her ankle ached, her shirt had caught on branches. Every direction looked the same: green, brown, shadows. She had walked in circles for what felt like forever. At first, she had tried to stay calm. She retraced her steps, called for her mom, but now the sky was changing, turning orange and blue and then darker, and the woods were getting colder. Her heart thudded fast in her chest. She sat on a mossy rock, pulled her knees to her chest, and finally allowed the tears to come. "Jesus," she whispered, her voice thin and cracking. "I don't know where I am. I'm scared. I think I walked the wrong way. I think I messed up. Please help me. Please don't let the animals get me. Please don't let me die out here. I'm just a kid. I don't know what to do." She closed her eyes tight. The forest didn't respond. No sound but the breeze moving through the leaves. No light, no sudden sign, but inside her chest something flickered, like the tiniest candle being lit. Peace. Small but real. She stood. Her legs were tired, but she moved. One step, another, and with each step she whispered, "Help me, please help me, show me where to go." What Emily didn't know was that not far from where she stood, less than 30 feet away, was a forest ranger station. A trailer with a radio tower, a porch light glowing faintly, and 2 men sipping coffee inside, unaware that a little girl was just beyond the trees. But Emily never saw it. It was as if something kept her circling just outside its reach, until she stopped walking. Because she wasn't alone anymore. She felt it first, like a shift in the air. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Not fast, not loud, just steady. She turned, heart pounding, expecting to see her father, but it wasn't Mark. A young man stood in the clearing. He was maybe 20, maybe older, tall, with broad shoulders, soft eyes, and a flannel shirt that looked well worn from many journeys. His boots were dusty. His hair caught the evening light in a way that made it glow faintly. But his eyes were like still water, deep, kind. He smiled. "Emily," he said, as if he'd been waiting for her. She blinked. "How do you know my name?" "I came to take care of you," he said calmly. She didn't run. She didn't scream. She didn't feel afraid. It was strange because she knew she should, but instead she nodded. The young man pulled a small tent from the backpack slung over his shoulder. He moved with quiet purpose, as if he'd done this 1,000 times. In minutes, he had the tent set up. He offered her a blanket. Then he built a fire, not too big, just enough to keep the night away. They sat together as the stars began to appear. He told her a story about a bird that got caught in a storm and couldn't find its way home. The bird was scared and tired and ready to give up. But then it saw the stars, and the stars guided it to a place it had never seen before, a place safer and brighter than its old home. Emily listened, eyes wide, head resting on the blanket. "Are you an angel?" she asked. He didn't answer right away. He looked into the fire for a long time, as if considering something sacred. Then he looked at her and smiled again. "You'll be home tomorrow." As her eyelids grew heavy, she felt something she hadn't felt since before the forest swallowed her. Peace. The good kind. The kind that feels like being wrapped in arms that will never let go. Her last thought before sleep was of her grandmother smiling on the porch swing, and a single sentence echoing in her heart. "Talk to Jesus like he's your best friend." Emily woke to the quiet hush of dawn, that sacred hour when the world is still holding its breath. A soft breeze slipped through the trees, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. Light filtered through the canopy like golden mist, landing on her face in warm patches. For a moment, she didn't know where she was. Then she felt the softness of the blanket, heard the gurgling of a nearby stream, and remembered the forest, the fire, the young man who knew her name. She pushed aside the flap of the tent and stepped out into the clearing. There he was, sitting on a fallen log, still and calm, like he'd never left his post. His eyes were focused on something in the trees, and that's when she saw it. Not 30 feet away, half hidden in the underbrush, stood a mountain lion. Its body was low, muscles coiled, golden eyes watching. Emily froze, her breath caught in her throat. The young man didn't move. "It's all right," he said without looking back. His voice was calm, like he was speaking about the weather. "Don't be afraid." "But," she whispered, "I know," he said. "She sees us, but she won't touch you." The animal watched a few seconds longer, then slowly turned and walked away, its steps silent, graceful, almost respectful. The moment passed like a breath released, like the closing of a page in a story only God could write. Emily stepped closer to the young man, her heart still pounding. "How did you know she wouldn't hurt us?" He finally turned to her, and his eyes seemed even softer in the morning light. "Because you asked God to protect you, and he did. That's why I'm here." They began walking side by side, the forest waking up around them. Birds called to one another through the trees. The sun rose higher. The fear of the night faded behind them, but Emily's limp returned with each step. The muscles in her leg ached. Her foot dragged slightly on the forest floor. The young man noticed but said nothing. They hadn't gone far when the woods opened to a wider clearing, and that's when they heard it. A deep grunt, the cracking of branches, heavy paws, a bear, massive, dark, standing at the edge of the clearing, sniffing the air. Emily stopped cold. Her hands clenched into fists, her breathing quickened. "It's going to see us," she cried. "We have to hide." But the young man didn't move. "He won't see us," he said. "That's not possible. He's right there." "Even so," the man said gently, "we're not in danger." Emily stared at him in disbelief. The bear's eyes passed over them and then wandered away, as if they weren't even there. "How?" she whispered. How is he not chasing us? The young man knelt down, close enough for her to see the golden flecks in his eyes. When you asked God to help you, he didn't just hear you, he acted. That bear is real. That danger is real. But so is the protection over you. He sent me to walk with you. And when God sends someone, even the most dangerous things in the world must obey. Emily's voice was small. Even wild animals? Even death itself, he said softly. God is stronger. They continued walking, now in silence. The pain in Emily's leg was getting worse. She began limping harder, wincing every few steps. The forest was thinning, and she could see brighter light ahead, daylight stretching toward a road, but the walk was too much. She stopped, breathing hard, and sat down on a rock. The young man sat beside her. "What's your biggest dream, Emily?" he asked. She didn't answer right away. The truth was hidden deep inside. Most of the time, she kept it buried so it wouldn't hurt. "I want to run," she said finally. "I want to play tag at recess. I want to climb stairs without holding the rail. I want to race the other kids without falling. I want to be normal." He looked at her, not with pity, but with something deeper, reverence. "Did you ever tell that to God?" She shook her head. "No, I didn't think he had time for things like that. For me." He placed a hand on her shoulder. "Emily, the God who knows every hair on your head has all the time in the world for you. All he wants is your heart." They sat quietly together for a moment. Then she stood slowly and asked to step away for a minute. He nodded. She walked behind a cluster of trees, knelt in the dirt, and folded her hands. "God," she whispered, her voice trembling, "thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for sending someone to help me. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I know you've already done so much, but this leg, God, it hurts so much. Every day I have to pretend I'm okay. I smile when it hurts. I try to be strong, like Grandma taught me, but I'd really like to run. I don't want to just watch from the side anymore. If you want me to have this leg forever, I'll still love you. But if you're willing, could you fix it? Just this once. I won't ask for anything else." She stood, wiped her eyes, and walked back. They continued on the trail together, and just ahead, the trees parted to reveal a dirt road. And down that road, far in the distance, two figures. "Mom," Emily whispered. "Dad." They stood beside a forest ranger's truck, their eyes scanning the trees in disbelief. Amanda saw her first. Her face twisted in shock. She dropped to her knees. Mark ran toward them, arms out, voice cracking with emotion, and Emily ran, without thinking, without limping. She ran like she'd never run in her life, straight into their arms. Amanda caught her and broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. Mark wrapped his arms around both of them. They kissed her hair, held her as if they'd never let go. Then Amanda pulled back and stared. "Emily," she said, breathless, "how are you? You ran." "What do you mean?" "You ran, baby. You ran to us. You couldn't." Emily looked down at her legs, both feet planted evenly in the dirt. No limp, no ache. Her right foot, once twisted inward, was now straight, her eyes filled with tears. "He fixed it," she whispered. She turned and pointed behind her. "He told me to ask. He said God would give me a new leg." Everyone turned, but the young man was gone. One of the rangers frowned. There was someone with her just now. "We saw him. He was there the whole time," Amanda said. "He never left her side." "Where'd he go?" another asked. Emily just smiled. "He went back where he came from." Amanda's hands shook. "What do you mean?" "He said he was here to take care of me." "And he did." Emily raised her face to the sky, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Thank you, God," she shouted, her voice full of light. "Thank you for my new leg. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for sending someone when I needed you most." Silence fell. Then Mark knelt down beside her and held her tight. All around them, people wept. They had been prepared to recover a body. Instead, they witnessed something no one could explain, no one but her. And as they walked back toward the ranger station, hand in hand, Amanda looked at her daughter with new eyes, with faith beginning to stir again after years of silence. Because sometimes it takes getting lost to finally be found. If this story touched your heart, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories of faith, hope, and the quiet miracles that still happen in ordinary lives. Your next moment of grace could be just one story away.